Howdy folks, I'm Vicious Viper's Bug Loss, vividly vexing velvet-vested voles.
I'm Amber.
And here are more vexing velvet voles for us to vividly vex. I don't know. Let's get started on that though. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Whistling in a Store as a Way to Find My Wife? She's short and I can't see her over shelves. I whistle and she appears. Today I did it and a lady called me a piece of garbage for treating my wife like a dog. I am trying to be pragmatic, not some sort of chauvinistic pig. Alright folks, what do you think?
As long as OP's wife is fine with it, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, I can understand potentially, depending on what kind of whistle it was, why the stranger might feel a little uncomfortable with it, but at the end of the day, like, it's not their business.
I mean, if it's like a dog whistle where they're like, you know, doing that really high-pitched stadium whistle, then I could see that being like a problem.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a aggressive type of whistle. But if it's like a, you know, some kind of sing-songy thing that they both recognize or something like that, then I don't see as much of a problem with it. I mean, it can be sometimes hard to find somebody, and you know, I mean, I think we've even done like a Marco Polo thing before or something like that, you know, or like yelled, you know, tried to find somebody in the mall or somewhere like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, in the era before cell phones, you know, you would have to kind of like call out for people and whatnot.
So I think that it's reasonable to want to find somebody and not give them a phone call, you know, in the middle of a store. So for me, it really depends on how OP is doing this, and if they're whistling to them like, "Here, girl," or something like that.
Yeah, that would be really awkward.
That could be like a little bit in poor taste, but hopefully OP isn't doing that.
Yeah.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Exchanging a Customer's Half-Eaten Cookie for a New One? First post, so I'm not sure how this works entirely. But I had just the most infuriating experience at work, and I was wondering if maybe I was out of line. Anyways, I'm a 31-year-old female, and I'm a manager at a local sandwich shop. Well, we sell sub sandwiches and fresh baked cookies, among other things. Anyways, this afternoon, a little girl came in, about 8 or 9 years old, with a debit card and bought an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie. She asked about the ingredients, and I showed her where they were listed on the packaging. And after looking them over, she decided to buy the cookie. I rung her up, and she left with her cookie. Anyways, 10 minutes later, a woman walks in with a receipt and a half-eaten cookie. I asked her how I could help her, and she proceeded to tell me that she had sent her daughter in to buy a cookie. But now she would like to exchange the half-eaten cookie for a sugar cookie because she doesn't like oatmeal. She had wanted to try something different, and after trying the cookie, eating half of it, she decided that she didn't like oatmeal cookies after all. I proceeded to let her know that I can't replace food that had been sold, left the building, and partially consumed. And she flipped out, demanding a manager, which is me, and proceeded to tell me that she's never heard of a company not accommodating someone if they didn't like what they bought. And it was just overall super rude. Now, I would like to mention that as a manager, it's in my power to issue refunds or replacements, but this woman was so rude. Anyways, I told her that she had eaten a good amount of the cookie, and I couldn't replace it. I also pointed out that basically every restaurant has a similar policy, to which she continued to argue that while it was true that there was nothing wrong with the cookie, I should accommodate her and refund her because she decided that she didn't like the flavor that she bought. Anyways, she took her half-eaten cookie with her and left, and I thought that was the end of it. Well, about 5 minutes after that, the little girl comes back in with the same half-eaten cookie and proceeded to make the same request. She says that she bought the cookie, but her and her mom didn't like it, and can I give her a different one? I did feel a little bit bad because clearly her mother had sent her back in to try to get me to give in. But I told her the exact same thing, that we are unable to replace food that is partially consumed, and personal preference of certain ingredients in a product doesn't entitle you to a refund if you don't like what is purchased. Girl left, and then immediately afterwards the store phone rang, and it was the same lady with the same ridiculous request. She demanded my name and general manager's name, and then proceeded to leave a vague 1-star Google review while on the phone with me. naming both me and my general manager in a complaint. My boss, of course, is saying that at any point, I should have just given her another cookie, and that's why I think that I might be the jerk. But I've never been the type to be bullied into making a ridiculous accommodation for an entitled person. And I cited the company policy for why I cannot replace or refund partially consumed food. So I'm the jerk here. Edit, I read the Google review and then looked at her Google profile, and it's actually full of about 8 one-star reviews from different restaurants where she didn't like something that she ate and they refused to replace it. So this is clearly her thing that she does often. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. This is ridiculous behavior on her part. Unless there is something like severely wrong with the food item that you buy, you don't get to return it. Like if you don't like the taste of it, that's a gamble you made. It's unfortunate, but there's nothing wrong with it. You know, if she'd eaten half of it and found like something that wasn't supposed to be in there, that would be one thing. Mm-hmm. But just eating half the cookie and being like, yeah, no, I don't actually like oatmeal cookies. That's not valid.
Yeah, I mean, if OP had sold them a cookie without a listed allergen in it,
yeah,
then I think they would be entitled to return that cookie and say, hey, this had a allergen in it. I demand a refund. And at that point in time, because that's negligence on the company's part, that is up to the company to rectify. And I think that one problem is that there's a lot of people out there who are like, well, the saying goes, the customer's always right, right? But the full saying is the customer is always right in matters of taste. Mm-hmm. And even if the saying was that the customer is always right, that isn't like some law that's integrated into the judicial code or anything like that, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that every single company has to give in to anyone who bullies them and demands a cookie or for free or something like that, right? So I think this woman is incredibly entitled, and I don't think that OP should have to have given them a free cookie to get them to go away, mm-hmm. right? All that's going to do is make her more entitled, because it's probably she's gotten away with this so many times, right, that she's just continuing to like write bad reviews for people who refuse to do it.
Well, that's the thing, is the fact that she has all these reviews like shows she's been doing this repeatedly, mm-hmm. you know, and these are only the people who turn her down.
Mm-hmm. So I think that this is a pretty good sign, and it's a good lesson to the kid as well, mm-hmm. to say, hey, you can't be entitled and stuff like that, right? You eat half a cookie, you kind of have to expect that people aren't going to refund this. You can't just walk into a shop, open up an ice cream, eat half of it, mm-hmm. and say, you know what? I don't really like half this ice cream. I'm going to return it, right? Like, no one is going to allow you to do that. I mean, you could just apply the same rule to any grocery mm-hmm. at all. And I think that's the big flaw in her logic here, is that you could just go to any store, say you didn't like something, and then get a refund on it, right?
Yeah.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Confronting Teachers Over Pizza? It's the end of the year, and my child class has an end of the year party. The Friday before the party, the teachers told the class that there was not enough parents signed up to bring in goodies. They told the kids that they better not hear them complain or compare to what other classes get, because it's on them to make sure that goodies are brought in. They specifically said no one signed up to bring in pizza, and they expect every parent to bring something in. Well, my child comes home and tells me this, and the tone in which she said it, I decided to order pizza for the class. According to my kid, it seemed to be a must. Turns out that 2 other parents ordered pizza too after hearing this last-minute gripe from the teachers. Well, the kids ate the first set of pizzas to arrive, and mine were the second, and the third parent canceled their pizza after hearing about the pizza surplus. According to my daughter, while the first set of pizzas was satisfying, the kids were willing to eat more. But one teacher suggested that the pizza be served the next day of school. Teacher 1 won't be present that day. And teacher 2 states, I'm not passing that pizza out. And teacher 1 says, okay, I will pass it out when I get back the following day. Teacher 2 states that I'm putting in the teacher's lounge. If no one eats it, then we'll pass it out. I haven't reached out yet, but am I the jerk for wanting to reach out to the teacher to ask 1, why she can't pass it out the next day, and 2, why she didn't offer more pizza during the party, and 3, and why didn't they offer for my child to bring it home? I didn't pay $60 to feed adults, some of who refused to offer the same pizza to the kids, and only ordered it after the teachers guilted us and made the kids feel bad the day before. Side note, this isn't the first time that this has happened, where parents have brought in extra so the kids have enough in teachers. But the teachers hogging what's for them and the extras for the kids. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I think the whole way the school handled this was terrible. First of all, like going to the kids and being like, well, your parents aren't giving us pizza, so don't be upset when you don't get a pizza party. Like, this isn't a decision that should be handled by the adults, not used to manipulate the children into begging their parents. It is fine to send out a spreadsheet to the adults being like, here's the food we're looking for, please sign up or we can't have a party.
Yeah.
The kids should not be privy to any of that.
Yeah, well, that's the problem that I kind of have with this particular scenario, is I don't know if the parents weren't given enough heads up or what is going on exactly here. Like, it's all right to send out a notice to say, reminder, we need to have the volunteer list filled out by this day, otherwise we won't be able to have a party or something like that, which I think is perfectly fine.
And then taking pizza that was intended for the kids and being like, oh, we're going to leave this in the faculty lounge. Like, this food is for the kids. Let them have extras.
Well, and that's where I wanted to go with what I was saying, is that generally when you have some kind of potlucky type of thing where people are bringing stuff in, you bring back what you've brought in, right? Any leftovers you bring home. You can offer to leave it with the teachers or, leave it with the potluck, group or something like that. But you should always have the option of taking the leftovers back if you want to. And the fact of the matter is that the teachers didn't even humor that as a thing to do. They're just like, oh, we'll go ahead and eat this pizza. We'll take it off your hands. And I think it would be nice for OP to offer this. Like, I think that that's perfectly fine to say, oh, if if the teachers want some of the extra pizza, they can have it. But the fact of the matter is it almost feels like the teachers kind of withheld some of the pizza so that they could have some later, right?
Well, that's the thing. Is like, it's one thing if the teacher who's in that classroom has a slice or two, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like taking an entire pizza so that all the staff can have pizza, like, just order a pizza, staff. I mean, I know that teachers aren't paid very well, but like, you need to be upfront with people about what their stuff is being used for. And this whole thing just feels so manipulative, especially dragging the children into it like this.
Yeah, and I understand that teachers have it rough. I really do. And I feel bad for teachers because they do have it so rough. Unfortunately, teachers have really gotten the short end of the stick over the last few years, but that still doesn't give them the right to take food that's meant for children and use it for themselves here, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Keeping Track of Wedding Gifts? Am I the jerk for keeping track of wedding gifts? I'm a 26-year-old female and I got married in the spring of 2024. I made a spreadsheet to keep track of the wedding gifts and money so I can properly send thank you cards to everyone and personally mention what they gave us without it feeling like a copy/paste blanketed thank yous. I was always told that your wedding gift should be about the same cost as your plate at the reception. As my friends have now started having weddings, I will reference the spreadsheet to see what they gave me so I can be fair in my gift. I will also Google the venue and search average cost of a plate at venue. My question is regarding my friend who is getting married next month. She showed up empty-handed to my wedding. Would it be rude to do the same thing for her? I feel bad because I know how expensive weddings are, and their reception plate is around what mine cost. But I am also a big believer in what comes around goes around. Should I just say karma's a bee, or get over it and pay the respectable amount? All right, folks, what do you think?
I think you're being very petty, OP. It's fine to record what people give you so you can send thank you notes, but to keep referencing that well after the fact so you can know what to give people, like, that's not how this is supposed to work. I understand your frustration when people don't give you gifts, but, gifts are an option. They're not a requirement at weddings. And it seems like your only reason for not wanting to give a gift is to be petty and to give them a taste of their own medicine. Like, if you feel that way, maybe you shouldn't go to the wedding in the first place. but I wouldn't stiff them on a gift just because you're upset that they didn't give you a gift.
I understand what OP is saying here, but I think they've said it in the most uncharitable way possible. Also, I think, like, yeah, if you are expecting, like, if you're hinging your relationships on whether or not somebody gave you a gift at a wedding, then maybe you should reconsider how you view those relationships. It feels very
It
transactional.
does, and it doesn't take into account any circumstances. Like,
Hmm.
not everyone can afford to give the same level. And I know that sometimes, your wealthy aunt will give you nothing, and then it feels like a slight because they just spent, heck of money on a vacation or something like that. That's still their prerogative. It's unfortunate, but like lots of people, you don't know their financial situation. You don't know why they didn't give a gift, and if you shouldn't just give people in accordance to what they gave you because they may not have been able to give you much.
Yeah. So I LP can give this person a gift or not. It's really up to them, but they shouldn't be doing it as a tit for tat type of situation. They should just be doing it because they want to be, good to their friend or not good to their friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you feel this is a good friend and you want to give them a gift, give them a gift. But don't let the judgment of whether they gave you a gift or not, be the determiner, is kind of my view on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Want to hear a joke about construction?
I would find that condescending, condestruction. I would find that destructive.
Never mind, I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be something like that, given the other joke from the other day. And I have some Earl Grey. And folks, today is a very special day. It's Tit for Tat Tat Day. So make sure to go keep track of every little thing and pay it forward or back. I don't know. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and our guidance, and please have it on pizza parties.
Don't emotionally manipulate children.
During pizza parties.
Yeah, or
Well,
anytime. But yeah, don't emotionally manipulate children to get free pizza.
but thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.